Hello, everyone. Welcome to She Knows Arsenal Daily, keeping you up to date on all things Arsenal. So make sure you guys like this video and subscribe to the channel to help your girl out. Arsenal beat Sevilla 2-0 in the Champions League yesterday to take a massive step forward towards the round of 16. Arteta ran back the Martinelli, Trossard, and Saka front three, and they cooked. They absolutely cooked. Sevilla's right back is going to have so many nightmares of Gabriel Martinelli. That is a quintessential Martinelli performance where he just continuously goes at his right back. And if the final ball was a little bit better, I think we would have beat them by even more. But Martinelli's coming back off of an injury, start trying to get his flow back. So it was really fun to watch him just at least going at his fullback consistently. And really, it was not just him. Trossard and Saka were also really good. Saka came out with an assist and a goal. Trossard was the beneficiary of a really nice assist from Bukayo Saka, and Martinelli got the assist for Saka's goal. So everybody was involved, and no surprise because I told you guys, that front three works. This is a really cool stat. So despite starting just 5 games, no Arsenal player has scored more goals in all competitions than Trossard. He has 5, and Bukayo Saka was the one who assisted him in all 5 goals. It's almost like they play well together. Oh, who would have thought of that? So Arsenal could qualify for the knockout stage of the Champions League without kicking a ball in match day 5, with Sevilla PSV being the early kickoff, and Arsenal would require a win from Sevilla. So this was a really important game. We had to win this game, well, because really Arsenal, but ultimately to take one big leap forward, one more win, and we're top of the group. We're very close to being top of the group now, and we're top of the group now, but to securing that. You guys know what I mean. The game yesterday was a fun watch, especially in the first half when Arsenal were super dominant and continuously attacked Sevilla. But ultimately, it was a very professional performance where Arsenal got the job done and took a big step forward towards the round of 16. Are Tomiyasu and Saka injured? So Arsenal are already riddled with injuries, and Tomiyasu came off at halftime against Sevilla and was replaced by Zinchenko. At the time, I wasn't quite sure. I think none of us were really sure whether or not it was injury enforced or tactical, and it ends up being injury enforced. Tomiyasu, this Arteta is saying that Tomiyasu was feeling something, so we didn't want to take a risk. So that doesn't necessarily mean that, it's the worst case scenario, but the last thing you want to hear is that a player had to come off because he was injured. This international break cannot come soon enough for me. I just want everybody to stay home. Gabriel Jesus, stay home. Thomas Partey, stay home. Emile Smith-Rowe, no Nando's, stay home. Tomiyasu, stay home. Martin Odegaard, stay home.
Bukayo Saka, stay home.
Saka came off limping again. It is a visual that is burned into my brain, into my psyche now, and I am traumatized. I am so tired of seeing this guy come off. And I'm not saying it's like on him or anything like that. I do wish when we were, 2-0 up or the game is pretty much won, that Arteta would take like the first opportunity to sub Bukayo Saka off. We know that he's still kind of recovering. He still doesn't look quite himself. And Arsenal were up 2-0. And after the Zinchenko for Tomiyasu sub, Arteta subbed Fabio Vieira and Reece Nelson on. And he took off Trossard. I don't think you needed to take off Trossard. He should have taken off Bukayo Saka. And like seconds after the game restarted, boom, he's on the ground. And so you got to get the balance right. I get that Arteta wants to, and Saka as well. I think they believe that Saka is going to be like a Mohamed Salah, somebody that plays 70 games a season. And I would love that for him. But equally, he is dealing with some injury issues. So the balance has to be right. Sometimes you can take him off. You can start him every single game, but when we're winning and we're comfortable, take him off. Arsenal take on Burnley this weekend at the Emirates, and so Zinchenko coming in for Tomiyasu is probably the right move anyway because it's a Zinchenko game. We speak about this all the time. What kind of game is a Tomiyasu game? What kind of game is a Zinchenko game? Burnley at home, definitely a Zinchenko game. But it would be a shame to see the combination of Martinelli, Trossard, and Saka broken up after such a promising game against Sevilla. But if Saka's injured, there's no need to risk him against Burnley. Bring Reece Nelson in. We gave him a contract. He's more than capable of playing against Burnley, and he probably deserves to start in the Premier League right now. So, if Saka's injured, go ahead and play Reece Nelson, and I'm pretty sure we still get the win. If you were Mikel Arteta, would you start Reece Nelson at the weekend? Arsenal are interested in bringing in Ivan Toney. The Athletic have said that Arsenal are very interested in Ivan Toney, but is yet to be seen whether or not Arsenal would be able to pay for Ivan Toney, which should not be surprising to anybody considering we're doing a Klarna deal for David Raya. Arsenal did not have the money available to them. They spent a lot of money last summer. So in order to bring in David Raya, we kind of had to do a little loan deal to get that over the line. And so there is no money. And unless a big sale is made in January, Arsenal will not be able to move on Ivan Toney. We've spoken about Ivan Toney a lot on this channel. And whether you believe that he's the answer or not, Arsenal are probably going to go into the January window needing players, but potentially not being able to bring them in because they don't have the money. And so I don't know where this big sale is going to come from, but is anybody going to come in with a substantial bid for Emile Smith-Rowe with the injuries that he's had and the lack of game time? I'm not sure. Would Arteta be open to letting Eddie Nketiah go? I'm not sure, but knowing that Arsenal would have to make a big sale in order to bring somebody in really dampens the excitement of potentially bringing in somebody like Ivan Toney, who for me, if you're talking about getting somebody through the door to help you win the Premier League, that is the answer. Toney is going to do that for you. He's going to give everybody a boost. He's going to give you a plan B, somebody to hit long, somebody that can hold the ball up, somebody that is more clinical than the players that we have now, and somebody that also has and somebody that's really good on dead balls. He could end up being the difference between winning something and not. Now, beyond the January window, that's a completely different conversation. But Arsenal either need to bring in a midfielder in January to help us with our build-up and creating chances, or they need to bring in a striker that's going to give us a plan B. And if we are struggling to build up, we could just kick it into the box and have somebody finish off the chance. We do not score easy goals. I hate to bring this up, but against Sevilla, back post, Kai Havertz, first 5 minutes of the game, wide open. You just need to put that away. There are so many times where the ball just drops into a decent area in the box and Arsenal just don't put it away. And it's not just on Kai Havertz. We only score the most difficult goals. Goal mouth scrambles, random balls into the box. Just there's nobody with that instinctiveness to put it away. Ivan Toney definitely has that. Is he going to be star level for Arsenal? Probably not. But does he lift the floor enough where we would say, yeah, this team has probably enough to get it over the line and win a major trophy? Yeah, I think he does that. So Arsenal will need to figure out who they could potentially sell in order to recoup some money to bring in Ivan Toney. Ornstein has already said that Arsenal don't have a big appetite for bringing somebody in. So there's some conflicting reporting there. But I do think that if we don't bring somebody in January, we will be leaving ourselves short. So who could that sale potentially be? Thomas Partey wants out in January. According to the Daily Mail, Thomas Partey has told Arsenal that he wants to leave the club in January amid Juventus interest, but the Ghana international will hold out for more options in England and in Spain. You gonna do what now? You waiting for who? You waiting for what? Look, y'all have been real loyal to this man, but this man doesn't seem like he's loyal to you. The hoes ain't loyal. The hoes ain't loyal. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Just kidding. But look, it's just a rumor. But Arsenal were willing to sell in the summer, and Arsenal went out there and bought Declan Rice. And Thomas Partey started the season at right back. So I wouldn't be surprised if somebody of his talent was looking to go to a slower league in his 30s and go to a club where he can be the main man. Rice is the main man in midfield now. And despite people fighting me on this tooth and nail, I don't care if Rice is playing in the 8 role or he's playing in the 6 role. The reality is that he is the player that we're building this midfield around now. And we need to move beyond Jorginho, Elneny, and Thomas Partey. They are all in their 30s. Does not matter how good they are. Arsenal need to start future-proofing and moving beyond these players. Now, it's not about bringing Thomas Partey back into the side. It's replacing what he offers, because what he offers is not available to us enough. You know, you could talk to me about how great Thomas Partey is till you're blue in the face. It doesn't even matter anymore because he's not available enough for it to matter. So instead of talking about how important he is to the team, let's start talking about who we could bring in that replaces what he offers, but is also going to be available to us 90% of the season. That is the conversation that Arsenal fans should be having now. So I'd sell him in January because, let's be real, how many games is he going to be fit for? And we need a striker or a midfielder, so maybe he could help us recoup some of that money. Not only that, getting £250,000 per week off of the wage bill is not a bad thing. So would you sell Thomas Partey in January? And if so, for how much? It's the year 2043, and Arsenal are still monitoring Douglas Luiz. We are constantly linked to this guy. When will it end?
When is it going to end, Robbie? I've had enough of it.
But Arsenal want to strengthen in midfield, and the name that they are monitoring is Douglas Luiz from Aston Villa. That's being said in the Brazilian media, so, you know, but that would be backed up by several different people because we are constantly linked with this guy. So Arsenal are probably looking at quite a few players in this position because, just like I said, we need to start moving beyond certain players and reinvigorating this midfield. I think a lot of us are kind of disenchanted and underwhelmed by the options that we have there. We have a bunch of number 10s and a bunch of number 6s, but like we just need midfielders, like guys that can actually play in midfield, not number 10s, not number 6s, but number 8s. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? So we've been linked to Andre, Douglas Luiz, and Zubimendi, who is my personal choice. And Arsenal need this type of player because Rice needs a proper partner. He needs somebody that's going to help him bring out the best in what he can offer and counterbalance the things that he's not as good at, and then also provide a platform for Martin Odegaard, who is our main guy in there in terms of creativity. So Douglas Luiz is playing really well for Aston Villa right now, and he has like 6 goals in 6 home games, which is amazing. Good free kicks. Like he looks the part. He's pre-prime, 25, 26 years old, and he's a good Premier League midfielder. Is he a level raiser? You guys let me know. I'm not 100% sure because I remember us used to talk about players like Ruben Neves like this. They'd have good little runs in the Premier League and we're like, oh, we have to get this guy. I'm not convinced 100% on that. But we're going to talk about Arsenal's future, the future of our midfield. What does it look like? Can Rice move to the number 8 role? He spoke about after the game how he gets really excited when Arteta tells him that he's going to play in the 8 role. So is Rice actually the Xhaka replacement? Because you guys have been telling me that for a while. And if that is the case, who takes over the Partey role? Is it going to be Douglas Luiz? Is that the person that you want? Do you want Zubimendi? What do you guys think? You know, we're going to talk about that at 7 p.m. UK time live on the channel. So make sure you guys are there. Make sure you guys come back. And so make sure you guys like this video and subscribe to the channel. Get into the comments afterwards and let me know what you guys thought about this show. And I'll see you guys at 7 p.m. UK time. Bye, guys.